Hi, I'm Dee Murphy and welcome back to Dee Tales. Who doesn't love a clean car? We all do, but where do you start? In this short video, we're going to be looking at the must-haves, the nice-haves and the extravagant car cleaning products. So the next time you walk into Halfords or any other car cleaning shop, you'll know exactly what the words mean and what you need to buy. So wheels. Every car has them. Shock horror. How do you clean wheels? What are the needs, the nice to haves and the extravagant wheel cleaning products? The first thing I'm going to say is this: regardless of what kind of wheels you have, I would encourage you to get yourself a separate wheel bucket. This is £1.50 in the likes of B&Q home-based local hardware store. You do not need a fancy alloy wheel bucket or a fancy detailing bucket with a grit guard for cleaning alloy wheels. Standard bucket. Why do we need a standard bucket? I'll explain. On any wheel, they're getting hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. Brake pads are designed to break off as they're contacting the disc. That's where brake dust comes from. The back of brake discs, there's a thing called a dust shield. It's usually made of the cheapest metal that a manufacturer can find, and it starts to rust very quickly. Then there's rust particles. You clean it using your brush, or using your, and we'll get to that in a minute, put it in the water. All that stuff ends up in the bucket. You want to keep that as far away from your nice mitt or your nice noodle mitt or sponge or whatever you're using. So the first thing is when you're cleaning wheels, separate bucket. I know it sounds silly, but £1.50 could save you a fortune in scratches. Ask me how I know. Now, we've got our bucket. What do we use in terms of the contact? Because you're not just going to use your hand. There's a few options here. We have our £1.50. That way you could buy in any kind of hardware store that you could buy really anywhere, Tesco's, anything like that. It's flexible and it works well. You have a slightly more expensive noodle mitt, £10 to £15. You have your bristle brushes, and then you have your detailing brushes. Now I'm going to paint the picture here. You walk into Halfords, for example. I use the word Halfords, but there's like a Costco, Walmart and all these different places, and you see an arrangement of brushes and you go, I just want to clean my wheels. How do I clean my wheels? This is the must-have. £1, $1, €1 gets you a little brush. You could use it in your kitchen. It's just enough to contact the wheels to scrub off some of that brake dust. The bucket is a must-have, so we're at about £3 here, $4. That is all you need. For wheels, that is all you need. Now, don't get me wrong. My little daily car here, Yaris, it has little 15-inch wheels. There's lacquer peel, there's curb marks that I definitely did not do. This is what I would use for that. This car here to my other side, which has got quite rare Nismo wheels, I would lean into the slightly more careful stuff here. It depends what wheels you have. And also depends on your time and experience. But this, for most people, is absolutely perfect. What's the point in these? Okay, for wheels that you want to be slightly careful with, you can reach the back of the barrel, you can scrub right in, and it's designed to pull all of the contaminants out and into your bucket. This little bristle brush, it's designed to really, and you can see that on my previous video that's linked below, it's designed to really scoop and scrape out any hardened brake dust on the alloys, so it's a bit more of an aggressive brush. You would use that quite carefully, but it's actually really good. And then we have our detailing brush, and I would use this for kind of in and around the barrels, in and around where the kind of the creases of the wheels, a little hard to reach areas. It's very soft. Do you need these? Absolutely not. What is the nice to have? Probably this. That's nice to have. The smaller stuff, the more expensive stuff, no, you don't need these. Again, you want to spend £10, you've got a bucket, you've got your little brush, and you maybe have one of these. That's all you need. Wheels, you don't need to overcomplicate it. Now, we have the stuff to physically touch the wheel. What chemicals are we going to use? You walk into Halfords or any other store, there's hundreds of products, different colors, different smells. The key thing is, anything you look at, I encourage you to look at pH neutral, non-acidic or non-caustic. It means it's not going to eat the lacquer, it's not going to eat into the alloy wheel. This is like £5 or about $6 worth. This is called 1 Minute Wheels by Greased Lightning. The first thing it says at the top is non-acidic wheel cleaner. Regardless of how good or bad this is, you know it's not going to damage your wheel. Also, the key thing is if there's a little bit of overspray on your paint, it's not going to eat into that either. Regardless of what you want to spend, non-caustic, non-acidic, pH neutral. There's lots of products here. You have your spray-ons, you have your crazy cheap, massive tins of the spray-on wheel cleaner. I've never ever got this to work, and I've never found one that worked. They're cheap for a reason. I would put that in the do not bother pile. Do you need this? I would say some kind of alloy wheel cleaner is nice to have. So this is a kind of real cheap one. There are very expensive ones out there. Then you can get into fallout remover and stuff later on. We'll look at that. But really, to do your wheels, £10 would get you a bucket, would get you a product, and would get you one nice little brush and maybe some kind of scooper. And that's all you need. For wheels, you don't need to spend big. Your wheels are clean, they're looking great. Well, what about the tires? Tires is something you can very often overlook. And trust me, a car can be sparkling, the wheels can be clean, but if your tires are brown, it just takes away from the overall look. And the clean tires takes 2 or 3 minutes. But again, what do you need? What's nice to have and what is extravagant? Like most things with car products, there are hundreds, thousands of options, but we're gonna cut to my favorite ones that I have used in the past and ones that I recommend. I'll put them in the cost pile and what is nice to have, what you need to have, and what's extravagant. So, walk into Costco, Walmart, Halfords, any store like this, and you'll see a product like this. I'll do a close-up anyway for you, and it's the likes of Meguiar's Endurance Gel. It's a goat. I've used it for 20 years. People argue in the comments, oh, it flicks off. If you put it on right, it won't. And I guarantee, once you smell it, you will understand why. It is the world's greatest grape scent. It's iconic. That's what I use. This one would be about £10, $12-ish to buy, and a bottle lasts you forever. Wheels, done. Now there are other options out here, let me touch upon them. Slightly more expensive, the likes of Autoglim, a well-known brand, high performance tire gel. You then have a few other options. You then have our good old can of spray, which also says it cleans wheels but also treats tires. I don't know how that would do that, but anyway. What's nice to have? Well, really, what do you need? You don't actually need anything. If you're happy just to wash the tires down and leave them, let them dry. What's nice to have? Either one of these products. They're both probably £10 to £15. My personal preference is this one, the Endurance Gel. And a lot of stores often do kind of like buy two, get a third thing free. This is always my third thing because it's usually the cheapest thing. So I buy 2 other products and then go, oh, might as well grab some Meguiar's tire gel. I would use the likes of it. I've recently started using this with some detail and stuff, and I've actually been really impressed with it so far. It does tend to last a while. So what do you need? A cloth with water. Tires are clean and dried. What's nice to have? Some kind of gel. They're all going to cost around the same. What to avoid? These spray-on things as well. You spray them on the tire and they're meant to kind of stick to the tire and then run off. They won't, they'll just get all over the wheel itself and you're back to square one. So, what do you need? A cloth. What's nice to have? Some kind of tire gel. But again, budget the £10 to £15 max. There are ones out there really expensive that talk about like single coatings that last for months. £10 to £15. And how do you apply it? There's 2 different train of thoughts. Again, the free option or the cheap option, just cut up an old bit of sponge, small amount on it and around the wheel. Or my new favorite toy, it looks like a little hockey puck. You pull it off and it's a little brush inside. I'll do a nice close-up of that one and you put it back in. This has been a game changer for me recently, and you just hold it and it goes around the wheel and it's really excellent, doesn't get anywhere. But again, I would say that's a nice to have, slightly extravagant option. This cutting sponge, you go into your kitchen, cut up a bit of sponge, does the job. So again, our wheels from the start, tires are done, wipe them down, you can leave them, a little bit of gel and a sponge. Don't overcomplicate wheels. Get them clean, get them dried, and then maybe a little bit of treatment on the tires and it just makes them pop. Wheels, done. What's next? Okay, so your wheels are done. The tires have either been just cleaned and dried or a little bit of slick if you've decided to go down that route. It's time for the wash. Let's walk back into Halfords or any other kind of car cleaning place. You see terms like pre-wash, traffic film remover, TFR, all-purpose cleaners, non-caustic. All these different phrases and very specific detailing, car washing, valeting slang. It's easy to get lost in the thousands of products that are available. So let's break it down very, very simply. What is a pre-wash? Is it needed? If you decide to go down that route, what do you need? What's nice to have and what is extravagant? So, a pre-wash. Simply put, it's a wash before the wash. It is designed to help pull as much dirt, as much of the grime, as much as the contaminants off the paint before you touch it with a mitt. Do I do it every time? No. This little car to my side here is my daily driver. It gets cleaned with a mitt and some soap and rinsed. This car is a car that I would take to shows and track days and stuff. Absolutely, I'd use a pre-wash. Is there advantages of it? Absolutely. It keeps the water cleaner in your bucket. It removes any kind of potentially stubborn dirt and grime before you even go near it with a mitt. So it's up to you. If you're looking at a simple wash on a Saturday morning that takes 30 minutes, 40 minutes, your car's driven throughout the week, it's a family car, do you need a pre-wash? Probably not. Are you looking to make your life as easy as possible when it comes to touching the car with a mitt? Yeah? Okay, then let's look at pre-wash. Traffic film remover, all-purpose cleaners. The key thing is you want it to be non-caustic, non-acidic. There are some cheap and nasty products out there that, yes, will remove the dirt and the grime before the mitt goes near it, but also it'll strip back any wax or potential products that are on the car protecting it. Non-caustic is key with most things when it comes to car washing. So you decide you want a pre-wash. What is the needed things? Well, pre-wash, that's what you need. Like everything with detailing, there's plenty of things out there. Let's go through a few options here. So you will maybe see the likes of what's called pre-clean. This is by ACAM. I do like these guys. Ross, hit me up. It's a non-caustic, it lasts forever because it's hyper concentrated. You only need a little. So if you decided you wanted a pre-cleaner, you go down this route, or again, there's phrases like a citric cleaner. Again, a pre-cleaner, slightly different, but again, hyper concentrated. You decide, I want to go down that route, how am I gonna apply it? Well, what do you need? Something like this from a garden centre or from your local kind of discount shop. This cost me £5. It has a little spray on it. The kind of thing you'd use for your weeds, to spray weeds. Or again, a little bit of this at the bottom, fill it with water, spray it onto the car, don't let it dry. And that's your pre-clean applied. Give it 5 minutes. Again, don't let it dry and rinse it off. You've just done your first pre-clean. This will cost, in this kind of size, 2 litres, by £15. A smaller bottle, about £7 or £8, but it's all kind of the same stuff. Non-caustic, £5, kind of from a discount shop. £15, and suddenly you have the ability to pre-clean a car. It will make your life easier. Is it needed? Not necessarily, depend on the car. So this is what you need to have, some kind of pre-clean product and something to spray it with. What's nice to have? Well, I suppose if you wanted to go down the route of a slightly thicker snow foam, which everyone seems to love on Instagram and YouTube, you'd need a power washer, but also there's a hacks and get around that. Something like an IK pump comes with a specialist nozzle. You'd fill that up and you'd spray that on, it creates a nice foaming agent. Pre-cleans, you can kind of dance between pre-cleans and regular washes, but obviously we can't avoid the elephant in the room, which is snow foam. Snow foam, there's 2 ways to apply it. As I said, with this little kind of cannon, it's not gonna have the look of Instagram where the car's like an iced white kind of. Watch my previous video, there's loads of snow foam in that. Or a snow cannon. To use a snow cannon, you're gonna need a power washer. Again, these things are somewhere in between the nice to have and the extravagant. A power washer has more uses than just washing cars. Obviously, you can use it around your home and so on. You can spend as much or as little as you can. I'll touch upon that in a few seconds. But snow foam, I'm gonna put it right in the middle. It's a nice extravagance, but to get snow foam on like this, you're going to be spending £200–300 to get started. You're going to need to buy a power washer. Then you're going to need to buy some kind of snow foam gun attachments. The ones that come with power washers aren't designed for vehicles. It's designed for spray and bleach on patios. So you'd want to go for like a proper gun attachment. Something like this online, again, AliExpress, Temu's made our life easier. You'd be about £25–30 for this. It's brass, it'll last forever. Then some specific power wash companies have their own branding. This is an Ava one, which I really like. So what do you need? This simple pump and a simple product. What's nice to have? Maybe an IK sprayer and a little bit of snow foam. What's nice to have extravagance? The proper lances and the cannons to give you that white, thick snow landing on the car. Again, they're just pre-washes. Snow foam, there's 1,001 products out there. Anachem or the Achem one is very good. There's Polar Blast by Meguiar's, it's excellent too. Or this one's actually a bit of banter, a little bit of fun. Autobrite have a lovely Airy Ball snow foam, mint chocolate, and it smells just like an Aero chocolate bar. It's green and gloopy, so your car comes out green. With this, setting these aside, I would go give yourself a £15 budget. £15 would get you both of these. This little section here, the must-have. You then spend another £15 separately on a gun like this with the little spray. Snow foam is a bit more expensive. You're looking £15 to £20 a bottle, and then you're into the hundreds of pounds for this. But if you want to do a pre-wash, start off simple, because it's not something you need to do every time, especially through summer. You don't need it every time. Winter especially, yes. Get a garden sprayer. Go into the likes of Halfords or like a local kind of detail and Valentine shop and ask for a non-caustic pre-wash. They'll give you maybe like a citric cleaner or something like this. There's lots out there, but give yourself maximum budget of £20 to get started. Got your pump, you got your product, and don't let it dry. After you do that, then you can start to get into the slightly more extravagant things. That's a pre-wash. In our hypothetical little car wash here, we've now done our wheels, we've done our tires. You've successfully pre-washed the car for the first time, and did you let it dry? No, you did not. Because if you did let it dry, you wouldn't be watching this video. You'd be sitting in your driveway, weeping at paint that has now got pre-wash cemented to it. We're past that stage and we're now deciding to wash our car. The car is sitting lovely and damp. It's time to wash the car. So what are the must-haves? What's the necessities? What is the nice to have and what are the extravagance? Okay, so what is the must have in terms of kind of equipment? A bucket. Again, these are my little buckets. I touched on the last video this idea of a two bucket wash method. I might make a very short video on that because lots of people were asking about it. You just need a bucket. It can be any kind of bucket. Doesn't have to be a fancy bucket. The bucket I used a minute ago for the wheels, you can buy two of them, £1.50. In fact, I'll go get it. Again, £1.50 bucket, and it would absolutely do the job. Doesn't need to be fancy. So, must have a bucket. Nice to have detailing buckets. Why are they nice to have? They come with grit guards. A grit guard will stop the grit getting back into your mitt. And talking about mitts, you need something to physically wash the car with. You'll sometimes see online, or whenever you're watching other detailing videos, people say the contact moment or the contact wash. This is a bit we make physical contact with the car. Up until this point, everything's just been spray on, wash off. Contact. Can I encourage you to buy one of these? They'll cost you about £5 or £6, and it's a mitt. There's lots of different language out there. They're called Wookiees mitts, the Star Wars reference. You know, Chewbacca, Wookiee, it looks like Wookiee's fluff. There's these, which I really like. There's a little elastic band inside so your hand holds on them. The one thing I would encourage you not to do is just buy the old yellow sponge. You're just pushing the dirt across the paint. This will lift the dirt off, trap it in the mitt, and then you rinse it in a bucket. So what is the must-haves? Bucket and a mitt. What are the nice things to have? Fancier buckets. It's not rocket science. This is a contact. It's the kind of thing that everyone can do. The key thing kind of is what happens when you start to pick your soap product, because there's lots of price options out there. Really, with most things, find a price point you're comfortable with. It's like anything, the more money you spend with this stuff, the better you get. The one thing I'd say is don't fall into the trap of thinking suds equal good. Again, sorry, AKM. Also the likes of Autoglym, Maguire's, they all offer a solid kind of pH neutral, non-caustic kind of thing. They're not expensive. Budget yourself £10 for them. The key thing is it's not about the soap or the suds or the bubbles. It's about the kind of the lubricant that it creates. So you put your hand in and it feels slippy to touch. You want your paint to be as slick as possible when you contact it with the mitt. And that's why Fairy Liquid wouldn't work. It's actually a degreasing that would just strip everything and you push the dirt across down with your paint. So, contact wash. What is the must have? The cheapest bucket you can buy. A mitt, £5, and some soap. Again, budget yourself £10. You're there. Our car is now washed, the wheels are clean, the tires are dried and slicked. We have pre-washed the vehicle within an inch of its life. We have now added the most premium of soaps and used our 2-bucket method to wash the car down, and it is dripping dry in all its glory. It's time for decontamination. Or is it? Decontamination is one of those things, it's kind of taking that next step in. You've washed your car, there's two options here. Option one is drive the vehicle down, walk away and think, good job, I'm away to watch some football on the TV. Option two is, I want to step into a world of hurt paints, weird smelling chemicals, and never be truly satisfied with the end result. Detailing. We're going to go down option two for the sake of this video. We're going to decontaminate the paint, which means we're going to remove the things that we cannot see. How do we do that? By spending money, of course. So the what do we need section, if you decide not to decontaminate the paint, be a normal person and drive the vehicle, this is for you. You're done, you're enjoying a cup of coffee, watching Match of the Day. But you decide, I want to decontaminate my paint. I want it looking extra sparkly from the things that I cannot see. How do you do it? And what even is it? There's lots of ways to go about it. There's the chemical route and then there's a physical touch route, and we're going to touch upon both of them. So you may see things like tar remover when you walk into a car cleaning shop. Tar remover, I touched upon it in my last alpha video because it was a white car, and I think that the driver had actually driven through the tar pits looking for dinosaur bones because it was covered in tar. The first thing you do not do with tar is try and scrape it off with your nail, because you'll just smear it and you'll be in for a world of hurt. You use tar remover. Tar remover can cost anywhere from about £7 to about £20 a bottle. It's one of those things that you keep in your kind of tool bag and you hope you never need it, but if you do need it, it does help. There's variations. There's tar remover, there's glue remover, and there's tar and glue remover. Tar and glue remover, the likes of Terminator here, is really useful. If there's tar on the lower sills, wash the car, let it drip dry, spray it on, leave it for 5 or 6 minutes. You'll see the tar start to actually melt and run off, and then you wipe it with a little microfiber cloth. This isn't a spray over the whole car thing, unless the car is literally covered in tar. That's nice to have. Fallout remover. This is not the kind of thing you spray on your wife before you go to bed. But instead, this design is designed to remove any iron filings or kind of metal deposits that end up on the paint as you drive about. You're driving behind a lorry and it's throwing all the stuff that's not good for polar bears out of the exhaust. Brake dust, all the different things end up over the car. This is the thing that goes purple when it contacts metal on the wheels, and everyone seems to love it. Fallout remover. It's nice to have. And finally, if you're feeling extra brave, the likes of a clay bar. The clay bar is designed for you to massage into the paint, and it is what it says. It's just a bar of like a special clay, and it physically pulls any of the decontaminants off and leaves your paint silky, smooth and soft, and all that's not because metal's not soft, but silky smooth and looking really clean. What I will say is this: for decontamination, unless you're then stepping onto another process of like polishing or something like that, I would avoid it. I would say wash it, dry it, and maybe some kind of quick sealant, and we'll touch upon that in a minute. But if you want to do it, the likes of a tar and glue remover, just on the lower panels, and then if you want to, this is like a 1 in 6 washes kind of thing, guys. This isn't every week. Spread over the car, let it sit, don't let it dry, and then rinse off. And if you decide you're going to go down the polishing route, a clay bar is really useful too. So again, decontamination in general is not a necessity. What's nice to have, some kind of tar remover, some kind of iron fallout remover. And if you really need to, if you want to be extravagant, clay bars. Decontamination by far is my least favorite part of washing or detailing a car. It's not very rewarding. All the chemicals smell terrible. They're slightly more expensive. And it's one of those things that if you do it wrong, you're going to have a really bad time. So unless you're keen, just skip this part. The thing that you need to have if you want to drive a car is some kind of drying cloth. The cheapest thing is this, which I've literally just purchased. I'm going to do a bit of a test video on this. I bought this from AliExpress because I thought £1.67 for 30 of these. But honestly, it is the thing. I think it's a bit of a case. Now there is nice edges to them, as we hanging things for drying them. I haven't used them yet, so I can't talk about even how the lint's going to break off. But if you wanted to dry a car on the cheap, something simple, this is what you need: a simple cloth. It's going to take you forever and a day. I'm going to say from the start, do not buy a chamois. Them horrible leather things that you see for sale in petrol stations. You have to soak first to soften it. Do not use them. There's videos online of why they're terrible. So some kind of cloth is the need. The nice to have is a specific drying cloth. This will easily do 2 cars before I need to wring it out. And there's a great example of that in my last alpha video as well. That will dry a car. That's the nice to have. What's extravagant? Some kind of quick detail or coagulant. The last video I showed you will see it when I sprayed on the detailer. It pulls the water together and actually makes it much easier to be pulled off with this. And also then it leaves a protective spray. So drying is actually one of the easier things to do. Start at the top of the car, work your way to the bottom. What you need is some kind of cloth. What's nice? An actual drying cloth. £15 will buy you one of these, and I've had this, probably this one, 6 or 7 years. What's extravagant? Some kind of quick detailer. This is a ceramic sealant / quick detailer. It says it lasts 6 months, but yeah. It's called G-Technique C2 V3. Fancy name. 15 to 20 pounds would buy you something like this. You do see them on offer every so often on Amazon, so it's worth looking at. Drying cars, again, it's one of those nice things to do, but it's not a necessity. You could literally just finish the wash project. This is how you do drying. Need, nice, extravagant. And as if by magic, more expensive things have appeared. I'm going to stress, I haven't went out and bought all this specifically for details for YouTube because I don't have any sponsorships and I'm tiny. This is stuff I've collected literally over the space of 20 years. It doesn't go out of date typically, this stuff, so you can jump in and jump out of it. So, you've decided your paint, you want to correct your paint. You've looked, you went, it's a bit dull. There's a few swirls. There's maybe a light scratch or two. I want to, before I kind of protect the paint or wax it, I want to put something like this on it. So what do you need? What do you need to correct paint? What's nice to have and what is extravagant? So what do you need? I can't stress how much I like this product. Auto Finesse is one of them brands. The branding is unbelievable. Some of the products are incredible, some not so much. This is Auto Finesse Triple. So it's triple because it has 3 different things in it. It has polish, it has wax, and it has sealant. So it really is an all-in-one. You would apply this using a micro kind of little sponge, and then you would wipe it off. The price is still on this. It was £12. I bought this 4 or 5 years ago. There's still a bit left because I don't use it often, but it's brilliant. You could do your whole car with this, with a little sponge, and then wipe it off. The paint will be different, it will look great. It won't pull any scratches off, let's not pretend it will. It has a lot of fillers in it, so it will fill the swirls, so the paint will look great, but you won't have actually corrected the issue, but that's a great one-step product. You wanna go a bit deeper, we then start to look at like cutting compounds. I'm gonna stress, guys, for 95% of people, you don't need to step into this world, but it means you know what it means if you walk into Halfords. Cutting compounds, there's typically 3 levels of cut: heavy cut, medium, and a finishing polish. This is a medium cut, this does everything. Be careful with this stuff. You can damage paint very easily. I would use this if maybe the likes of a kid's bicycle handlebar brushed up the side of a car, or there's a little branch mark or a light scratch. This will pull it out, but you need to be careful. So this is the need. You want to correct your paint to some kind of pleasing level for everyone. A light hand polish and a cloth. What's nice to have, a slightly heavier compound. You could hand sponge this and it would do an okay job. What's extravagant? We're stepping into the world of DA polishers. I'm gonna stress, a DA polisher, unless you're either confident, knowing what you're doing, or don't overly care if you burn through paint, I wouldn't bother with this. There's a level above it beyond which is called an orbital sander. Really, guys, I've been there, I've burnt through paint, and it's much cheaper to pay someone who knows what they're doing to polish a car than to take it to a body shop and have a panel repainted because you've went through the lacquer. So this is extravagant. I wouldn't bother with this unless you really know what you're doing. This is nice to have, a heavier cut compound, and this is the need. Paint protection, we've done that. Correction, a little bit of polish. Yeah. There's a lot of hard cuts here, I apologize. Things are just appearing on the table. This is what's called the paint protection stage. So this is under the assumption that you've just dried your vehicle and you're happy with it, and you've decided you just want to give it that little extra bit of kind of pop. You want the rain to run off slightly better. You want it to be a little bit shinier, a little bit more of a gleam. And this was called paint protection. You could spend thousands of pounds on millions of products. Here's the very simple stuff. The need is the basics, like some kind of ceramic spray. It's called Quick Detailer. There's hundreds of brands out there. They're all much of a muchness. I was a big fan for years of what was called Maguire's Last Touch. It came in a big drum, you mixed it with a little bit of water, it smelled great, sprayed on, wiped off, job done. It will give you 6 or 7 weeks. That's what you need. If you want something a little bit time consuming and also a little bit nicer, jump into wax. There's lots of different waxes out there. Again, I was a big fan of one wax that tries to do everything well rather than spending money on specific different waxes. This is, again, look at the tin, it's ancient. This was by chemical guys, it was called a 50-50 wax. 50-50 because it's half wax and like a half kind of filler, which helped the paint if it wasn't polished and things. You would just have popped this on with like a little sponge, wiped on, wiped off, Mr. Miyagi style. That's the nice to have. And I do jump back into this every so often. Ceramic sprays are great, but there is something about waxing the car every so often. Last but not least, we can then go to what is extravagant. Our snow foam cannon's back, but this time it's not snow foam inside it. This time it's what's called a protector wax by Koch Chemie. This stuff is absolutely incredible. It is slightly more expensive, but I did show you this in the last video with that Alpha. You spray it on, it kind of sticks to the paint, almost bubbles, and then you have to power wash it off. 80% of people are never going to use this, and you don't need to know what it does, but it is excellent if you want to go down that route. What do you need? Some kind of quick detail ceramic spray. Spray on, wipe off, job done, car will look great. If you want to go a little bit deeper, what's nice to have? Some kind of wax. You'll hear the term carnauba wax. Carnauba equals money. So there's lots of different waxes out there. 50-50 wax is great. And a little sponge, they're like 50p for 10 on Temu. And then the extravagant, the power washers, things like that. I always try, no matter what vehicle I'm using, whether it's the daily car or whether it's the nice car, whenever I finish washing the car and dry it down, I will always give it a little spray of something like this. It just, any areas you've missed, it just makes the paint pop, adds a little kind of hydrophobic coating to it. And even if there's like bird poop on the car, it makes it easier to lift off. So it is worth doing. This, all in, £20 worth. You can do it on a budget. This, 25 to 30 pounds. And this, assuming you already have a power washer, you'd be looking 30 pounds for this bottle, and then all the spray stuff on top of that. So I would stick to this stuff. Good wax, and a kind of a sponge, or a ceramic detail spray, and a cloth. My advice, like any hobby, is this: dip your toe in, start small. This section here I've been talking about the whole time. The needs, go for the needs. Wash your car with just the needs. Step back and go, am I satisfied with this car as it's finished? If the answer is yes, congratulations, you've got a cheap hobby. I am envious of you. If you step back and go, I'm pleased with the car, but the paint's not quite how I want it to be. It's not quite as shiny. I can feel it with my hand. It's rough. Then maybe it's to dip into the must-have sections, the clay bars, the polishes, the waxes, things like that. You will get a better finish to your vehicle. And then maybe you're like myself, where you enjoy pain and sadness and generational debt, and you decide, I want my cars to possibly be as clean as they can be for about 15 minutes and a bird keeks on them, or you drive it down the road and it's a puddle. That's how long it lasts. You then step into the section, the extravagant sections, or the really nice things to have. What I'll say is this, guys, the nice thing with detailing products is they tend not to go out of date. They do last forever. Most of them are hyper concentrated. If you stick to what you're meant to do ratios wise, they do last ages. The things I stress about, and I'll always say, is if it says non-caustic, pH neutral, that's the one to go for. The cheap and nasties are just full of acids and alkalis that do get off the dirt, but they will damage stuff too. If you have any questions, you always go into like a forum, or onto like social media or YouTube like here, and there's always someone with an answer too. Any questions, or if you have a specific product that you'd like me to look at over the next number of weeks, put it in the comments below. On that, I forgot to do it last time because my mic broke. Thank you so much for watching. I am a little guy. Liking and subscribe makes a massive difference. Interaction in the comments section really helps the algorithm. Yeah, this YouTube channel has been designed just for me to kind of put my hobby and my passion out there, my little journey into valets and exploring some cool cars. I've got another one coming up next week, which is a family wagon, and we're going to do some kind of detailing hacks for a dad or a mum who has like 5 minutes while their child is napping to quickly pull the sick out of a seat. That's the kind of stuff this channel's going to be about. It's not going to be the Ferraris and all the fancy stuff, because let's be honest, who would trust me with that? Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. My name's D Murphy, and you've been watching Details.